What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the PGA RPS Pinseekers show. I am your host, JSU, and guys, make sure if you haven't gotten over to runpuresports.com, get over there. We're firing in the Discord. We got TBT content in the Discord, PGA all the time. People are in there talking PGA. Got my man Hoop, who took down like 400K on Draftkings and FanDuel. Other subscribers who took down, 50K, 100K, taking down the big baller contest on Yahoo with a single bullet. I think he won 6K for that. So, I mean, get over there. The subs are crushing right now. The content is fire. PGA is hot, Tony. But what's going on, brother? We got Big T with us.
What's going on? Yeah, I mean, last week we said lock Bryson in. We said get the Wolfie in there. We said get Burnsy in there. If you started your teams with those three guys, it was a pretty good week. And I think we crushed. And I hit my first. I know he was the favorite, but we make picks at the end of the show. A little 6.5 to 1 in the old win column. I'll take it. I mean, he's the favorite. Like we said, sometimes you got to take the favorites. You're allowed to do it here and there. So I'm happy to book the first outright of the season.
Yeah, no, we'll give it to you. You called it. You were on Bryson again, and he won it for you.
Sucks that he's not back this week, right? Like, why do you have to sit on us one week? We were getting in the flow with him.
Yep, we were just going to go all in on him again. People didn't want that, though. So, right. But, yeah, I agree with you. I thought we were pretty spot on with, a lot of our analysis. I mean, we also liked Hideki at the top, and Hideki played well. I mean, had that, a little rough stretch on Sunday where he kind of hurt himself a little bit, where he could have done a lot better if he didn't in one or two holes. But other than that, I mean, we were right on with the Hideki call and all in on Bryson. I mean, then the cheap guys. I mean, Matty Wolf, Sammy Burns. I mean, our whole, all of us, all the coordinators who do PGA content, it was pretty much consensus. Favorite play was either Sammy Burns or Matty Wolf, right? So, yeah. I mean, from seeing that alone, you could easily – and then Wesley Bryant, another guy who people were like, oh, we can't play Wesley Bryant chalk, blah, blah, blah. And then he just smashes. So, I mean, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I ended up winning I think 3 or 4x my investment. And I had JT posted on my main team, so I only had 5 of 6 on all my big teams. Whenever you can go 5 of 6 and still crush on the week, it's a good week. I mean, it felt like we hit on everything. I mean, you looked at all the leaderboards had Run Pure things all over them. I like it. It's a tough act to follow after last week, though. We got to bounce back and find some winners this week and get right back on the saddle.
Bounce back from last week? I mean, let's try and duplicate last week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then maybe we can get, like me or you or AP or Mangone, someone besides who taking down 400K or a member. Let's get a member.
It would be just so great to just come back and peel more than Hoopster and just tell Hoopster who's his daddy.
Well, I'll tell you right now, that's going to be a tough thing to follow. But even a quarter of that, I'll tell who. I'll tell who what's up. But let's get into it, Tony, because I want to start off getting into the top of this, field, because last week we had Bryson and we knew it, right? It was Bryson. We were all in on Bryson, and that was our guy at the top. And then a little sprinkle of Hideki, but now no Bryson, no Rory still. We got JT, John Rahm, Patrick Cantlay, Brooks Koepka, Xander Schauffele, and Hideki Matsuyama from that 10K and up range. So what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's a different week for sure. I mean, the last couple of weeks, we have been all over, really the whole season since COVID. Bryson has been kind of our guy. I mean, from back – was it the first week? The first week we did the show, I was out at the lake house with Hoop. We were talking about Bryson. We've kind of just rode that train. We finally got a week without Bryson, but we do have a good field. I mean, you got JT at 11 to 1, Rahm at 13, Cantlay 15, Koepka 15, Hideki 16, Justin Rose 17, Xander 20. So you got 6 guys or 7 guys at 20 to 1 or less. So you got some big time names. For me, I don't know if it's just because we're in the zone right now, PGA wise, but it just feels super simple to me that I can't play JT over 11K. I'm not going to play him. Rom hasn't looked great to me. We've played him a little bit, but I'm not going to play him either. And then it comes down to the next four, like you said, Cantlay, Koepka, Xander, Hideki. It gets a little harder for me. Xander's really the only one that I don't think I'm going to play either. So we always talk about it every single week on the show. Got to take stands. You got to pick your guys. You got to go with it. It's a little harder this week at the top, but I still want to take stands. And the top of my list is maybe the hardest. I'll go down even to 9-5 just because I think you can put it in the same bucket this week where Hovland and up, I want to play two of them. And I think that'll be my rule. I think I'm going to fade Hovland, though. Right now, every site I've seen has him about 25+%. We've been on him every single week, even from the first week when he was low owned. I don't want to pay this is going to be a hot take, too, because everyone loves Hovland. And I've been on him the whole year, so it's kind of weird to hop off now. But 25% Hovland when I can play Justin Rose for 97. I can play Hideki for 10K. I can play Cantlay, who's been amazing at this course and super consistent, 10-6. So I think I'm off the Hovland wagon. And it's hard for me, though, because I want to pick three guys, and I kind of like four right now. Like Cantlay, Koepka, Hideki, Rose.
Is it in that order, Tony, or do you have a specific
no? If I had to rate,
like
it's super close for me between. I think Koepka is clearly number 4, but Cantlay, Hideki, and Rose are super close for me. Like I hope you can help me decide because honestly, like they're really, really close for me, and I want.
So you said Cantlay, Rose, and who? I'm sorry,
and Hideki. Hideki.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
For me at the top, I'm with you. I want to take a stand. In the beginning of the week, I was thinking about Jon Rahm. I think I'm more on the Hideki, Matsuyama, and Patrick Cantlay bandwagon now. And I think they're going to be my top 2 guys in this range. Especially on Draftkings. On FanDuel, it's a whole different story because you can just play like even probably 3 of these guys, really, if you find a cheap guy you love. So it's a little different story over there where I think I would play 1 or 2 other of these big guys just because I can easily fit multiples. But that's going to be my plan. I think I'd rank them, though. Hideki 1, Cantlay 2. And I'm not as high on Justin Rose as you. I know he was playing well right after the break we had with the whole COVID thing. And then he came out, he missed the cut, not last week, the week before. But I just think 9,700 is kind of pushing it now when we have some studs on this slate. I agree with you that Hovland, if we're going to bring it to the 9K range, Hovland's going to be the most popular. I'm probably going to end up not playing him. I love Victor Hovland. I was with you, that whole way. We were riding Hovland for like the first 3 weeks of this whole thing, right? And then he kind of got that huge price bump. I jumped off him last week, kind of. And I think I'm just going to stay off him this week, at 9,500. May play some Morikawa in hopes that he gets a little bounce back. I don't think he's going to be super low owned. I think he's going to be, he's going to be somewhat popular just because, the name and, 9,200 is not crazy. If you're paying, people were paying 10K for him, like a week or 2 ago. So I don't mind him. I'm not playing Ricky Fowler at 9K. I didn't play him when he was like 8,100 2 weeks ago. So I can't play him at 9K now. Right. And then who am I missing? That's pretty much it in this range. This is a small range right here. So I think what we're looking at is I think a lot of people, I think some people will play Ricky just because he had a good week last week. So I'm just totally off of that. And then Hovland's definitely the next guy. And then I don't know, will Rose be the lowest owned out of this group? He might be, honestly.
No.
You don't think so? So you who do you think is the lowest, Ricky?
First of all, I should say before we even talk about this, like I think the best part about DFS golf is all of these guys from Ricky all the way up to JT are going to be over 10%. I don't see any of them being below 10.
But that's not my question. That's not my question.
I'm going to circle back. Let me don't be getting it in front of the line here.
All right.
But yeah, so none of them are going to be below 10, and really only Hovland and probably Cantlay I see being anywhere close to 25. So they're all going to kind of be in that range. I think Rose is the third or fourth highest, though. Like, Rose is for sure going to be higher than Koepka and Xander. He's for sure going to be higher than Rahm. He's for sure going to be higher than Morikawa.
Oh, so you're talking about the 10K range too?
I was
you're
just talking
about the 9 and 10.
Yeah,
okay.
Like,
okay.
I mean, I think he'll be similar to Hideki, somewhere around 20%.
What do you think of Jon Rahm? I just feel like give me your take. I want to know because he was someone in the beginning of the week I really thought I was going to play. I love Jon Rahm. I love playing him. I haven't really played him that much since the COVID thing, but before COVID, I was playing him all the time, and he did treat me well, prior to this whole thing. But yeah. I mean, what's your take on him? Because we haven't really touched on him. You touched on JT. You don't want to pay $11K for him, but what about Jon Rahm?
So I just haven't liked how he's looked. I don't really love the way the course shapes up for him. I don't know. Like, all these guys are good. Like, everybody I don't like Ricky. Like, I don't think he's good. But everyone else in this top range is good, obviously. So you got to take stands on good guys. And I just don't. First of all, he's more expensive than these guys. I mean, he's 1K more expensive than Hideki and Rose and Hovland. And even Cantlay, I think, is just a way better play. And like we always talk about, like, we want to take stands. I can't feel good about playing Rahm over Cantlay or Hideki or Rose or even Koepka for that. What do you think of Koepka? Like, he's probably the toughest decision of the week for me because he's been running his mouth, which I like. I mean, sending the thing about our boy Bryson saying he's on steroids. I love when Brooks starts chirping. Big Dick Brooks gets back going.
Isn't Brooks on steroids?
I mean, he probably is. He's freaking.
I mean, come on. Like, these guys are both, obviously big guys. What I think of Brooks is in the beginning after this whole, COVID thing, I was like on the never play Brooks except for in the majors thing, like most people. And, he's definitely showed me, and besides that first, week he was back, he's really played well, and then the whole thing with the caddy and, him just kind of stepping off and withdrawing. But, I can't argue with someone who says Brooks is a good play because I think he is like a pretty good play. The problem is I just like Hideki and Cantlay more. And I think I'm going to play only two guys up here just to kind of, take a stand like we try and do. I don't want to play 3-4 guys. I want to, be heavy on the guys I have up at the top. And then really, like we've been doing, mix and match the cheapies, try and get the right combo with those cheap plays. And be able to play two guys in this range and maybe, add in one guy in the 9 range or high 8s. So that's my strategy. And, I'm going to try and go all in on it. That's just, that's the way I play. It's a little more risky. I'm pretty sure you're kind of the same way. So, I mean, that's my thought, but I don't think he's a bad play.
Yeah, I'd be fine with Rahm. Like, if you're convicted on Rahm and you want to play him over Cantlay, like, I'd be fine with it. I mean, he's going to be way lower owned. Cantlay's for sure going to be 25% range, maybe even higher, just because of how good he's been in the course.
You think he's going to be 25%?
I just think he has to be. I don't know. He's got good course history. He just looks good. I mean, his odds right now, he's sitting at 14-1, which is better than Koepka, which is better than Hideki, similar to Rahm. I mean, Rahm's like 14 and Cantlay's like 14 or 15. So, I mean, he's getting basically the same odds as Rahm. I don't know. Like, this top range is tough. And just to circle back, like, Rahm is minus 137 over Xander in a matchup. So, Xander's for sure, I think, the worst play for me up. I just hate when he's priced this high. I feel like Xander should be priced around Morikawa, Ricky range.
Like 93, 9,500, somewhere in that range. Yeah. Agreed. So let's take it down a little bit because we talked about, the the top tier guys, and then we talked about the guys in the 9K range. Let's bring it to the upper 8Ks. We got Sung J M at 8,900, Patrick Reed 8,800, Mark Leishman 8,700, Jordan Spieth round 1 and 2 hero 8,600, Matt Kuchar at 8,500, and I'll throw in Joaquin Niemann at 8,400 just because he's going to be somewhat popular. He's played well. So what do you think of this range, and who do you like here?
Man, this range is tough for me this week. I really don't like any of them for the most part. As crazy as it sounds, like 8-9 down to 8K, Bubba Watson. I mean, I like Fitzpatrick a little bit at 8K, but there's no one in this range that completely sticks off the page at me. I mean, I'm not playing Sung Jae. Sung Jae has looked terrible. He doesn't even wear the Band-Aid anymore, I don't think. He needs to get the Band-Aid back on the ear, get the power back with it. But I don't like him. I'm definitely not playing Patty Reed. I mean, Patty Reed just hasn't done it for me. Leishman, I play Leishman when he's like 8K and he's unowned. This week he's 8.7 and he's going to be pretty owned, 15% or so. So I'm not going to pay 8.7 for Leishman. 8.6 for Spieth is just a joke. I couldn't even imagine paying 8.6 for Spieth. Kuchar, I don't mind. Like if I land on Kuchar in my lineup, I'm okay with it. But I'm not like falling over to roster Kuchar, who's going to finish like he always does, like 20th, and he's not going to win it or lose it for you. Kind of like a Casey, a guys like that. But I don't have to have Kuchar. I like him. Neiman is going to be super popular, and we've kind of been on the fade Neiman train a little bit. I think I'm still on the fade Neiman train. Woodland. So we were all over him 2 weeks ago, kind of all over him 3 weeks ago too, I believe. He just hasn't been good. And I think I'm going to go back to him just because, I mean, you can't fade the whole 8K range. I mean, I don't, if you're playing 150 teams, I don't think you can fade all of these guys. Like a couple of these guys are going to do good. So I'm not going to completely fade them, but Woodland is going to be like, if I had to rank this whole range, I think I would rank it Woodland, Kuchar, Fitzpatrick, maybe Fitzpatrick ahead of Kuchar. But there's a lot of guys that are going to get ownership, like Hadwin. I'm definitely not playing Hadwin. He's going to be owned. Neiman's going to be owned. I'm not going to play him. Leishman and Patty Reed are going to get ownership. I'm not playing them. So I'm kind of taking a stand on this range for the most part. I'm interested to hear what you say, but I think those are my three guys: Woodland, Kuchar, Fitzpatrick.
So, I mean, first of all, if you guys haven't noticed, my dog is dying to get on the show right now. He's trying to lift his head up and jump on my chair and put his face in the camera. If you're wondering what that is, it's my dog trying to get up here. But in this range for me, the three guys that really stand out to me, I'm with you on Kuchar, Woodland, and I think the third guy for me is Leishman. I disagree with you a little bit. I'm on Leishman. I think he has upside even at 8,700. And, again, just a guy, he can win. He has that type of upside. And I think for tournaments, you want guys like that. Kuchar, just a solid overall play. Like you said, he's not gonna like make or break your lineup pretty much. He might not win it, but he could do good for 8,500. I think he's a fine play. And then Gary Woodland, 8,300 is it's still just way too cheap for him. I'm probably not going to play Neiman. He's going to be very popular. Adam Hadwin, I'm not going to play again. Burned me last week, but let's see, he burned me twice. So I'm just going to stay off of it. Matthew Wolff, I'm not going to play. Fitzpatrick, I may have a little stab of Fitzpatrick, but I'm not going to have a ton of him. So really this range comes down to those three guys for me. Sung J M and Reed are just fades. We've been fading Sung J M pretty much this entire time. He's been the most popular play like the last 3 weeks, and no one wants to talk about how he just busts every single week, and all these guys
got lucky to make the cut too, 2 of these weeks.
God, he got so lucky. Yeah. Birdied on the 18th hole, and he still was terrible.
I'm pretty sure this week
bad.
Too, I'm pretty sure he made it on the number this week too. Like he's run good the last 2 weeks. He could have missed the cut both weeks.
Yeah. he's just been playing terrible. So I mean, I'm off of it. Yeah, people can go on, but he's 8,900. Like you need a solid performance, and for me, I rather have Leishman, Woodland, Kuchar, and I'd probably rank them close to that order. Maybe it's Kuchar then Woodland, but right around there. So anything else on this range or anything you wanted to touch on?
No, and the good thing is the next range I think is my favorite. I like the 7K range a lot this week. There's a ton of guys in here that pop off the page to me, and I think should be lower owned than the 8K range. There's a lot of, and one of them, by the way, is not your boy Phil Mickelson. I mean, he's sitting here at 7-8.
I love how Phil Mickelson is now my boy because of the one time I said he was an okay play.
I mean, why did they start pricing him up though? Like, just leave him down at 6,800, 69 to where we can at least like entertain it.
Like think about playing
him at 7,800.
No way. That not even for a Phil Mickelson homer right here. His favorite, his fanboy. But yeah, for sure. You can't play him. I know one guy you're going to talk about is Benny on 7,900. That guy, I never get him right.
You're going to get him right this week.
Well, here's the thing. I want to know how many times can you actually get Benny on right, like in a year? Because I feel like it's one of those things where he like it's hard to like he gets that like 1 week out of like however many where he does really well, and then it's just like subpar or bad performances. So like sell me on Ann because I want to play Ann. I used to play Ann all the time, and then I stopped playing him because he was just killing me every single week. So sell me on why you love Ann.
So, I mean, people that watch this show every week are going to know by now or by the end that I play ball strikers. No one or very few people strike the ball better than Benny on. He sucks at putting, but one of the places he's putted well is here. I just think he's really underpriced. I love what he brings to the table. He's definitely going to be one of my outrights this week. I mean, right now he's 50-1 basically at Pinnacle. I haven't looked at draft. We'll go through the odds like we always do at the end, but he's going to be like 10% owned. He's 7,900, and I just really like him in this spot. He's got good course history. Everything lines up for me, and I do agree that he's let me down a bunch. Even this year already, he's let me down a bunch. But being the tournament players we are, it only takes that 1 week, baby, where he comes in and he gets it all going and he makes putts and all is forgiven in a hurry when he has that one. Just like Streel Daddy. I got off the wagon just a little too early a few weeks ago. He made me pay. I mean, he tormented me all weekend just dropping bombs in there on me. They're in that same range. I'm not quitting on Benny on yet. And it kind of goes for – so I want to pull this up real quick. Talk about this range real quick.
So while we get onto that, Brandon Arnold says he strikes the balls. Yeah, that's a good analysis right there. That's all you really need to say because that's what he does. Tony, make sure when you're looking up all your stats, you look up because you said he putts better on this surface. I want to know the greens. Tell me exactly what they are. They
proximity to the pin.
Yeah, give me the proximity. I want to know, if there's a mixture of green. Give me the stats, all right? Because we've totally seen really good punters on their preferred grass putt terribly, and we've seen them putt well. So I mean, it all comes full circle. So I really want to know. When you say a player, I want to know if they putt well on that type of grass. So make sure you look for that.
On the POA or the bent
yes,
grass.
Please do that.
How they hang in there from 15 yards in, and I mean, I love stats.
Yeah. So while Tony's looking up whatever he's looking up, we've got the rest of this range: Scotty Scheffler, Streel Daddy, Joel Damon, Jason Day. We're going to get into Jason Day in a second. We have a whole segment on Jason Day. Let me tell you right now, Cameron Champ, Snedeker, Corey Connors, Kokrak, Harold Varner, who's going to be popular, Ian Poulter, Billy Ho, Maverick McNeely, who our boy Snyder was on last week, and he was just telling all of us to play him. I did not listen. I will listen this week. Snyder, if you are on Maverick McNeely, I am following you this week. I made that mistake once. I will not do it again. But for me, I think Ian Poulter is too cheap at 7,500. Billy Horschel, me and you definitely have a Billy Horschel problem. I'm not going to talk you out of Billy Horschel, though, this week. I'm going to play Billy Horschel. I like him at 7,500. I just can't get off of him. It's like what you said with Streel Daddy. You get off of him 1 week, and he does it to you, and you're going to be sick. I can't do it this week. I still like his price at 7,500. It's still not expensive enough where I can get off of it and use the price as an excuse. But my favorite play in this upper 7K range is definitely Joel Damon, a guy who's just very solid, makes the cut, scores well on DraftKings. Always, on Sundays, he kind of falls apart most of the time. But by then, he's still pretty solid. I mean, talk about upside. Like the guy at the Travelers, he came T20, and he still scored 95 DraftKings points. Like that's what you want. You want someone who can, get those birdies, score a bunch of DraftKings points, and he's 70, at 700. Like that dude has tons of upside. And if he can hold it together on one Sunday, I mean, he could win it. So I like the upside there. Give me that. I'm not playing Scotty Scheffler. I'll leave Mangone to Scotty Scheffler. And let's get into Jason Day, Tony, because Jason Day was the talk of the Tuesday show. And I will tell you right now, the Tuesday show did something that is almost unforgivable. What they did was they played a clip of Tony, and they stopped the clip right as he was about to say, and I would never play Jason Day. Correct. They stopped it right before those words because they didn't want you to hear the truth, the true words. So the true words is that even though Tony said that Scotty Scheffler was terrible and he would play Jason Day over him, he said after those words, and I would never play Jason Day. And that is the facts. I listened to the clip. Mangone purposely paused the tape just so you wouldn't hear it. And that's the truth. Tony, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, they were taking things out of context, exactly what they do. I mean, since they can't pick winners, I mean, I shouldn't say that because Hoop got the job done last week. But
yeah, you can't say that.
Yeah, I mean, he did kind of. I mean, I got to give him credit. He got the job done. He closed the deal. He freaking shipped it. We'll give him credit. But back to Mangone, because Mangone, he didn't get the job done. And he was trying to play freaking out of context here. I said Scotty Scheffler sucks. I said Day sucks. And the point was I said I'd even play Jason Day over Scheffler, implying that they both suck. It's like saying, would you rather drink piss or eat shit? Like, I mean, it's the same difference. Just because I said I'd rather drink the piss doesn't mean I actually want to drink the piss. I mean, come on. Like, it's ridiculous what Mangone's trying to do, dropping the fake news. We hate to see it. But it's what they do on Tuesdays. They're focused about us on Wednesdays because that's what we pick.
And no, don't single out Mangone, who they were all with him on his side. They were all, saying you were wrong and he was right. So don't just single out Mangone. It was Hoop too. I'm calling all of them out. They all did it. They all let it happen. So that's
I was going to call out AP because he was probably talking trash, but we couldn't tell because he had the AOL internet going and we couldn't hear what he was saying while it was freezing up at the old lake house. But
I can't wait for your internet to go out in like 20 minutes and it's just me on the show.
When I'm at my house, the internet doesn't. I don't even need to knock on wood because when I'm in the home station, it doesn't go out. Like, sure, if I'm at the lake house or wherever, maybe it goes out. When I'm at the home station, it isn't going out. But let's get back to the winners here. Let's circle back.
So let's circle back. We were in the Scotty Scheffler, Joel Damon, Jason Day, that upper tier of guys. Give us your favorite from like 75 up to 79.
Yeah, so Benny On, like I said, he's going to be my top guy. Louis Oosthuizen at 7,900. Like, people always – he's never, like, super high owned, but he always gets a little – like, he always ends up being the trendy, like, sneaky pick, and I don't know why. Like, he's on my always fade list. Streel Daddy, he looked really good. What was it, 2 weeks ago? I have to play some Streel Daddy. Like, he looked really good. He's got good history here. no reason not to fire him back. I don't know how I took the 1 week off. I mean, you can't. That was criminal that I didn't play him that week. I deserve to get punished too because I should have never got off that train. That was really bad. I'm going to play him. Scotty Scheffler freaking sucks. I hope people get back on the wagon, Scotty Scheffler wagon. He's going to win a tournament when these fields get back to nobody playing in them, like the scrub weeks. Then he'll win. Kind of like I said about Sung Jae a few weeks ago. If these fields get weaker, I'll like these guys like Scheffler and M and these guys, even if we have to pay a higher tag. But I'm not playing Scheffler in this field. Joel Damon, I don't hate, but again, if he's going to be 20% owned, I don't need to pay $7,700 for Joel Damon as a 20% owned guy. So I'm probably off him. Jason Day, we already talked about. I'm not drinking or eating the bowel movements. Not doing it. Cam Champ, $7,700. I like him. It does feel expensive because we've paid on Showdown. We were paying, I think he was $6K last week on a few of those Showdown slates. So he felt super cheap. $7,700 feels expensive, but he makes birdies. He's looked really good. I don't hate it. Like, I don't hate it. Cam Champ at this price. Kokrak is another example of a guy that let us down. Didn't look good. But we come back, he's going to be super low owned. He's going to be very, very low owned. So I do think I want a little Kokrak. Sneds, I mean, another thing we were kind of a little right about. I think you might have played a little Snedeker, but
I played him. I got the burn. You were off of him. You were completely off of him. So I will give you the credit for that one.
I don't think I'll ever be on him though, just because I don't want to play guys that their best trait is putting. Like, I just don't. If they putt good, so be it. Like, I'm fine. I want ball strikers that suck at putting to where if they get hot with the putter, you win. I don't want great putters that if they get cold with the putter, you got no chance. In that first hole last week, I was watching it from the golf trip. He shanked a like 4-foot putt, Snedeker, kind of looked down at the putter, and you knew right away he was done. Sure enough, the next hole, shanks another 4-footer. I could never play him. But I was going to say, if I was ever going to play him, it would be this week. Coming off the chalk bust, come right back with him this week. But since I was off him last week, I'm still going to be off. But if you played Snedeker last week as massive chalk, why would you not come back with him this week and at least play a little bit at unowned, even if you play 10%?
Because my feelings are hurt right now, Tony.
Yeah,
that's why I won't come back. That's why I won't come back with them. But you're right, though. It does make sense. If you played him last week, I probably should have some Sneds if he's going to be that low owned just because, I was on him last week. So this bottom tier, because I'm kind of with you, I already said pretty much the guys. Cameron Champ, you brought up a little bit. He treated us well in Showdown. I mean, he's been playing really well. I mean, 7,700, yeah, it's a big, price bump for him, but he's playing well enough where kind of deserves it, and he's still playable in my opinion. So yeah, I do kind of like that. As we get into this bottom 7K range, from like 7,400 down, like I see, Rory Sabatini at 7,400, Ryan Armour, who was, a winner for a lot of people last week. Whoever played Ryan Armour, I mean, like, you played him last week or the week before, you were probably taking down some good money because he had two really good weeks scoring. I think it was, what do you have, 110 2 weeks in a row? I mean, he's got to be. Is he going to be popular at 7,400, Tony? How's that going to go?
So I don't think he'll be popular, but just because of the price bump, all these guys in this range were like high sixes 2 weeks ago. And these are like all our Showdown heroes that we've been playing on the Showdown that make a lot of birdies that were way cheaper. But I think this is the best range of the entire week. All of these guys are really good plays to me, starting with Billy Ho and Varner, HV3 with the Jays out there wearing the Concords on the course. You got to love wearing the Concords on the golf course. But, I mean, these guys are just elite. You got Poulter at 75. You got McNeely, our boy Snyder's guy, at 75. Lowry's cheap. Hubbard has been really good. He's 74. Lanto's been good, 74.
How hasn't Hubbard got a price bump? He's been like 7,200 for like 3 or 4 weeks
And
in a
he's
row.
crushed. Like, he keeps crushing. All these guys,
Yeah.
man. Scott Stallings has looked really good and made a ton of birdies. Patrick Rogers was in the winter a bunch. All these guys, man, every single guy in this range is where I want to live. I want to play 2 of my studs like we talked about at the beginning. Maybe one person in the 8Ks. The more I'm looking at these 7Ks, though, I could see myself just playing 4 of these guys with the 2 studs.
I will say it is hard to, if you want to have 2 studs in your lineup. I mean, really and truly, the way to do it might end up being to pick 3 studs, 3 9K and above guys, and kind of go heavier on them, and then mix match them and kind of fade the 8K range. Even though I do like Cooch, and I do like Leishman and Woodland. I mean, maybe you could fit Woodland in too with like 2 of those guys.
I don't even want to play Woodland is the thing. Like, I said I didn't like him. That's why I liked on this show, because I look at stuff. We both play a lot of tournaments, and we kind of just work through it a little bit. And then later in the night, we go through and build out our teams and get comfortable with it. But so we talked about the whole 8K range, and I didn't love it, and I didn't feel like you loved it. If you play 2 dudes at the top, like say you play Hideki, and we both like Hideki and Cantlay, it leaves you with 7,350 for 4 spots. You can live in this range. Like, I honestly think like all my teams might end up doing this: 2 studs, and then 4 guys, let's say 7,900 and below, starting with Benny On, Streel Daddy, Cam Champ, in that range. And then you only need 1 guy below 7K building this way. And we'll get in that range too. But like, I like that build. If you give me 3 dudes in this 7K range, I feel very confident.
So how many guys will you have in the 9K and above range if you do that strategy?
I'm going to set a rule even. I won't probably
No, that's not my question. I know you'll have a rule that says you'll have 2 in your lineup. I want to know how many guys you plan on playing in that 9+K range. Like, are you going to have 6 guys in your player pool? Are you going to have 4? How many guys are you planning?
So now that I feel like this is going to be my route where I play 4 cheap guys or 4 7, 9 and below guys, knowing that I can fit 2 for sure studs on every team, I mean, you're talking, that's a lot of exposure. So I know for sure, for a fact, I will have a ton, probably at least 50% of Hideki, Rose, and Cantlay. So that's 150 of my 200%, obviously. And then maybe I go 25 to 30% Koepka and maybe 20% one other guy. So maybe I end up with 3 like core pieces and 2 secondary pieces for 5 total, maybe, of the studs. What's your plan?
Yeah, so I think the more I look at it, the more I think I'm going to play 3 of these 10K guys. I'm going to play Hideki,
How much does
Cantlay,
it
and Rahm. So let's just say I play Rahm and Hideki, that leaves me 72 to 75. No, I didn't say all 3 of them. I said I'm going to have them 3 in my player pool. So I'm going to rotate those 3 around, but I'm only going to have 2 in my lineup, and I'll rotate them. So, like, for the 3 max, like, you'll see my lineups, they'll literally have Hideki, Rahm, Hideki, Cantlay, Rahm. Like, they'll have that type of, construction there, and then I'll mix match the guys I like at the bottom. So that's probably going to be my plan. And so if that's the case, I'm probably going to end up fading this like 8K range, probably a lot of the 9K range then. So that's just the way I'm going. I think if you wanted to do this, but you wanted to play like Brooks instead of one of my 3 guys, like, I think Brooks is fine. I think I'm just going to take a stand and play Rahm, Hideki, and Cantlay. But I couldn't fault you for like choosing Rose or choosing Koepka. I'm not going there.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I like the strategy. Pick your guys at the top, 3, 4, 5, however many of these guys at the top, and filter in what fit. I mean, we talked about all those guys in the mid 7Ks. I'm down in the low 7Ks now, and all these guys look good. I mean, you got Grillo, who I think is a really good tournament play. He's super risky, but he's looked good at times, and especially at this place. You got Johnny Vegas, who's treated us good at times and can
Oh
make a
yeah,
ton of
give me some
birdies.
Johnny Vegas.
Ryan
Yes.
Palmer's looked really good. Max Homa looks incredible this week. Brian Stewart, who came through for us last week, looks good. I want to live in this range. I want to live in the 7Ks with my studs. If I can fit 4 of these guys, I'm thrilled to do it. And I honestly think 4 of these guys are going to end up on the winner.
I think you can easily do it too. I mean, like, I think it's a
Yeah.
strategy where you can easily fit 4 of those guys. But if you couldn't, let's say, there are definitely a 6K player or 2, or like there are definitely some guys in the 6K range you could easily get to and play. I mean, like, I just scroll a little bit, and first 2 names that jump out at me, Sammy Burns and Michael Thompson. 2 guys I'm definitely going to play. I'm definitely going to be, probably overweight on from the field. Then we got guys like Matthew Neesmith. I've been playing Matthew Neesmith. He's still 6,800. I'm going to play him. I think you're on Duff Daddy, right? That's your guy, right?
I'm not going to go as far as to say it's my guy, but
I thought that was your guy.
I definitely am playing some Duff Daddy. Like right now, he's projected like 3% owned. We talk about this every single week on this show. Like I will for sure set a bucket, especially with the way we're building this team with 2 studs and like the low 7K range. I'll for sure set a bucket or a group where probably from 7K and below, let me look at the 7Ks. Yeah, from 7K and below, max 1 guy. So I don't want 2 of these guys on any of my teams with the way we're constructing these lineups this week. But there's a lot of these guys I'm okay going 10% on. Like, and Duff Daddy's one of them. I mean, he's been good here. He's going to be 3% owned. By going 10%, you got 3 times the field. And I don't love him. Like, I like Sammy Burns way more than Duff Daddy. Is Sammy Burns going to be 3 or 4% owned again too? Even though he just every single week.
No way. He can't be 3 or 4% owned. He's so good.
He crushes
like
every
how?
week. Yeah.
I don't understand that. I mean, like, even going down a little, we got Danny Lee, who I know you like for tournaments. He is a great tournament play because he literally, like you said on the Monday Peel Pod, he's either giving you that ceiling performance or he's missing the cut. But for a tournament, that's what you want. You know what I mean? You don't want that guy who's going to give you that middling score, like just make the cut and do okay. You want the guys who are going to give you that great performance, even if it's 1 out of 5 times. If he has that chance to give it to you, then I think he has a chance to take down a tournament for you. So, I mean, I'm going to play some Danny Lee, even though it hurts me. Harry Higgs, God, he had an awful weekend, but 6,500, I'm definitely going to play some Harry Higgs. Norlander played well last week. I could see myself playing him. I mean, there's a few guys. I think I want to play some Nick Taylor. I've played him in the past. I think he's only played. He hasn't played. This is his first tournament back, so probably be very low owned. 6,700. I'll play some of him. But Tony, anyone else that I didn't say that you really like down here?
Yeah, so I mean, like you were saying, a ton of these guys, and I know we talked about Furyk. That was on the Peel. We talked about this, right? I just can't quit him, man. Like, he's 6,900. I know you told me not to play him in the Millie Maker.
I don't understand the strategy. I really don't.
Because I feel like he can go low still. I feel like he can do it. Like, I just feel it.
All right. So, I mean, okay. So you're pretty much convicted that he can give you that big score and go low and give you what, like a T10 finish, like a top 10
like if he
finish.
finishes top 10, like he's in the winner for sure.
Oh yeah. If he finishes top 10, you're golden. But show me where, like, you have the proof. Like, this is my problem. I mean, that's what I mean. This is my problem though with Jimmy Furyk is he can make the cut. He can give you a solid finish. But is he the guy who's going to ship you the Millie Maker even at a cheap price? He just doesn't do it. Is he a guy, though, that in high stakes you can play and say he's a cut maker, he's going to give me 60, 70 points? Well, in high stakes, when there's less entries, that makes sense because you need to have guys like that who are cheap that are cut makers. So that makes sense because it gets you, the Hidekis, the Cantlays, the Roms, whoever you love at the top. But I just don't get it for the Millie Maker. I know you love him. Just for me, it doesn't make sense. Even if he did it, I don't even know. One out of every 30, 40 events, that's not enough right there.
So if
that's not even Benny on. That's not even Benny on.
One of the things I like about him though is his cut probability is just so much higher than all these guys. I just feel like if he makes the weekend and I get a miracle round where he goes low, I don't know. There's something to be said for making the cut. There really is. I know I always use the example when we're talking about locking in Bryson, where everyone says, what do you need from him? And I say, if he gets 15th, yeah, you're not going to win a tournament, but you're also not going to lose any tournament. I think there's something to be said for that. If my cheap guy makes the cut more times than he doesn't, it's going to be a profitable week. And if somehow he gets hot and goes low for me, maybe he sneaks in there. I mean, I do agree that you're probably right, but I just can't quit playing him. I can't help myself.
It's interesting, though, when you bring up the Bryson thing, when people ask you, what does he need? And my personal response is forget about that for a second. Bryson makes the cut. He's a top player. If he finishes towards the top, even like you said, like a T15, yeah. Then we have guys like Sammy Burns, Ryan Armour, cheap guys who end up making the cut and end up having really good performances. Matthew Wolf. These guys are on the winners. You know what I mean? These guys are on the main teams. So let's just say, for instance, the winners, if you constructed a lineup with Sammy Burns, Ryan Armour, Matthew Wolf, and then you had Bryson and, Hideki right there. I mean, that's a winner most likely. You know what I mean? You could have one guy miss the cut and you'd still be okay with that lineup probably. So to me, it also depends on how the whole tournament shakes out. You know what I mean? If there's a bunch of cheap guys, Brian Stewart, all these guys that are making the cut and doing well and are in the top, then it's not even going to matter. But yeah, if all the mid-tier guys that you don't have end up being in the top 10, if there's 5 mid-tier guys, then you're screwed. So really the argument is kind of silly because it all depends on how the whole tournament shakes out in the end.
And I still say, though, literally, once these guys make the cut, it's not going to be the reason you lose money on the week. Sure, if those guys crush, sure, you're not going to win a tournament. But you're still going to have a decent chance to make money, which is the important thing overall. Obviously, we want to win tournaments. That's what we're doing this show for. That's what we play for. But there's nothing wrong with grinding out a little profit. And if Bryson makes the cut, I mean, it's funny that Bryson's not even playing this week and we're still talking about him. That's how much he's kind of been polarizing to the whole situation this year.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. So let's kind of get back. Is there anyone else in this low 6K range that we didn't bring up that you have an eye on? I know for a fact you have someone on FanDuel who's min-priced. If you want to give that guy out, maybe throw that one out for the listeners.
Yeah, so last week we were on Chase Seifert. I think we talked him up hard on the show. He was 7K on FanDuel. He's 6,200 on Draftkings. Man, he goes out on Thursday and shoots 6 under. Felt really, really good about it. And then he comes back Friday and just does nothing. But, again, he's super cheap. On FanDuel, to get a 7K guy is just ridiculous. I mean, that is just a misprice. If you play him with one other remotely level guy, like a 9K guy, you can play anybody you want in the other 4 spots. So I love him on FanDuel, and I don't know if you need him as much on DraftKings just because you don't need that. You just don't need it as much this week. But that being said, he's going to be 1% again. He was 1% last week. Anytime you can play a 1% guy and like him a little bit, I don't really see the issue to it in a Millie Maker format, because if he gets hot and finishes top 10 and he's 1% owned, that's how you ship a Millie Maker. That's how you win a big field tournament. There's nothing wrong with ever playing. By the way, I don't know what made me think of this, but what happened to your boy Budenhosen? Don't be getting off the hook with Budenhosen. Don't be getting off the hook.
Oh man, you know what, Tony? I totally blocked that from my memory. It's not even that I didn't bring it up because I would have brought his name up just to bring his name up. But I literally blocked that from my memory. That guy starts off the Thursday round. I think he birdies 3 of his first four holes, and then he's -4 through like 6 or 8 or whatever it was. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting here pretty. I'm waiting for a text from Tony. I'm not even gonna text him. I'm waiting, I'm getting Twitter messages. Oh, Booz and Ho, he's blocked, whatever. And then all of a sudden, this guy just tanks. Yeah, finishes out the day -1, I think, for the day, but just missed so many birdie putts. I mean, just terrible within 20 feet. Like it was really rough to watch. And then Friday was just even worse. I don't know what to say, but like, he started off looking good. I really thought I had something there. I thought he was going to actually, make the cut and actually have a chance, and he just totally bombed. So I'll take my L on that one. I was dead wrong on the Booz and Ho. You don't have to say his name right today. We'll get him next
I
time.
can't say his name right until he gets the job done.
Booz and Ho.
Yeah,
I think. So on FanDuel, you like Seifert. I think Nick Taylor at minimum price is someone
is he
you can take
7K too?
He is 7K. Jamie Lovemark at 7K.
Oh, I like that. Lovemark. I forgot about him.
Yeah, so those 3 guys are 7K. And then, if you go just a little higher, you got Chesson Hadley at 7,400, Danny Lee, 76, Matthew Naismith, and Harry Higgs at 77. I think those are some interesting, salary savers for FanDuel specifically, as I look, because even some, like they have Sammy Burns, but he's 8-1, so he's a little more. Wait, I'm sorry, Nick Watney 7K, not Nick Taylor.
Oh,
that's my
God,
bad.
I can't play Nick Watney.
I'm not playing Nick Watney. I'm sorry, I thought I saw Nick Taylor's 8,100. Scratch that.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. I mean, I was excited for a minute there.
My bad. But yeah, no, Seifert, Hadley, Danny Lee, Matthew Naismith, Harry Higgs. I think those are all fine plays on FanDuel. So I'll definitely have a bunch of them. But anything else you want to talk about before we kind of get into the odds and, we kind of look at the matchups?
Yeah. So I got a pretty important thing actually with golf where we always talk about making these 150 milli maker teams or even 20 max or anything where you're multi-entering. I think in golf, weather comes to be a big deal. I know someone in the chat asked this a little bit ago, so I wrote it down and wouldn't forget about it. I think we could see a big edge from the afternoon early, guys, if the weather goes bad Friday afternoon, which it could. There could be thunderstorms, there could be weather, there could be wind, and then Saturday morning looks bad too. So I wouldn't do it with all my teams. Like if I'm building 150, I wouldn't do it with all of them, but I'm definitely going to do some tee time only groups. And as of right now, let's say I do it in 30% of my 150. So maybe even 50 teams of my 150. So like 33% of my teams. Let's just look through the tee times real quick. So if I sort by round 2 tee times, just to take a quick look at some of the guys that I think stick out, we got, hold on one second. Let me sort it by that. Yeah. So if you sort by the morning tee times on Friday, some guys that pop out playing early. Griot tees off early. Let's see. Fitzpatrick and Leishman, Morikawa. Cam Champ tees off early. Max Homa. Ian Poulter. Our boy Matty Wolf, who we didn't talk about that much, came through for us last week. The price bump. I don't hate it. Cantlay is a nice tee time guy. You got Ryan Armour, who we like, kind of fits in that bucket. We got Jimmy Furyk, who we talked about. We got Werenski. We didn't talk about Werenski, but he's another cheap guy that our buddy Wilson, who is one of the sharpest dudes in the industry, he was all over him last week. Now, I don't know if he's on him again this week, but he played good last week. Sammy Burns, I like to see him in the tee time. Harry Higgs. You got Lovemark, who we just talked about. Benny On. I'm glad to see Benny On in the morning Friday group. I like to see it. Chase Seifert. Seifert's in the morning. Sounds like a lot of our guys are in this kind of break, which is good to see. let's flip it real quick. Everyone can go through and look at the tee times too. It's easy to sort it. Like I said, I wouldn't do it on 100% of them, but I definitely think you should do some tee. Even if you only did it, say you're doing 20 teams, do it on 5 of them where you just play more afternoon, Thursday, morning, Friday guys. So let's look at some of the guys that I think it could hurt if you were building this way. The latest tee times on Friday. You got Joel Damon is the last tee time, basically. You got Chase Koepka, who I've actually heard some people talking about Brooksy's brother, Chase, just because he's 6K. I don't think I can't play him at 6K. I don't even think he's any good, really. It's just that his brother kind of gets him some notoriety a little bit, but not him. Danny Lee's late. Harold Varner is going to be a chalky guy that, with your tee times type thing, you could fade a chalky Harold Varner. Hubbard. You got let's see who some of the big guys are. Justin Rose is an afternoon guy, and our boy Billy Ho. Justin Rose and Billy Ho both in the afternoon grouping. Justin Thomas and Brooks Koepka, Jason Day. So you got a bunch of dudes you can fade. Streel Daddy. Just take a look. If you're building these teams, even if you're building 3 teams, say you're doing 3 max, that's all you do. Build one where you build only afternoon guys on Thursday, because then they'll play Friday morning. Maybe they get out of there. They put their score up Friday morning, and then the thunderstorms roll in. Who knows what happens? Even if they don't finish Friday, they're still going to have to come back Saturday and play in bad weather. You can get a big edge in golf. What do you think about this, JSU? What kind of percentages would you put behind it?
I think that it's definitely an edge if it happens, but do you build your rosters off of that one day? Like if there's rain or like if there's thunderstorms?
25% of the total.
But I'm saying, like, do you just go all in on those guys? Or not all in, but like, do you just pretty much hammer them? Because from my perspective, there were a lot of guys that you listed anyways that I was on anyways prior to it. So if anything, maybe it makes me bump up my percentage of them. Maybe like 15% from what I had them originally. That's a pretty big bump for someone. Like if I had them at 15% and I bumped them up to 30 from the weather. I think weather plays a great deal. We've seen it in showdowns just in general, right? Like as we've been doing all this showdown content, we've seen weather play a huge deal. Early tee times in the past few terms, pretty much since COVID, we've come back, has been huge. And I know for a fact that we've capitalized on some big hits from just going with the early guys. So, definitely I'm going to take a look and make sure that the guys that have these tee times, I have, bumped up a little more. But mainly the guys I like. I'm not going to play Jimmy Furyk. I'm on the no Jimmy Furyk. I'm not going to play him just because of this tee time, but I'm just going to up my exposure to the guys that I like that have this tee time. So
that's the best example. That's what you said. That's just genius. Like these fields are massive. So all you got to do, literally, you have your whole list like we just did. You go through every guy, you clear out the guys you don't like, and then just sort by tee times. You don't have to play anyone you don't like. Just build a team or however many teams you want with just those times, because it's still going to be 6 guys you like. It just so happens to be they all fall in that tee time bracket. And if you get lucky, it could be a huge edge. We've seen in these showdowns, even 1 stroke difference between the morning and afternoon is a massive difference. And I'm probably going to build 30% of my teams this way.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm definitely going to look at it when we get off, when I start building and finishing my lineups. It's definitely going to be an edge. But let's get into these matchup props, because I got DraftKings pulled up right now. And I'm going to throw out a few props and you kind of talk about, how you look at it and then, give us what you like, what you don't like. But I'm going to start at the top. We got our guy Cantlay. He's plus money. Justin Thomas is a minus 137 favorite against Patrick Cantlay at plus 110. Dog. When you see that, what do you do? Because I know you base a lot of the DFS stuff. You look at these a ton. Like you use this, you weigh this a lot in how you look at DFS. So kind of explain that, and then explain, how that looks to you and what you think.
Yeah, so it makes me like JT a little bit more. I don't really want to play JT, but just seeing that, I mean, what did you say? He's minus 140 or something? 137, whatever it was.
137, yep.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me like him more, but I think I would weigh it more if, like, one guy was super low owned and the other guy – I think both of these guys, like, JT's going to be like 20%. Cantlay's going to be like 25.
He's always popular, JT. He's just,
That's what I mean. He's more of like a public guy. And
especially, right, exactly. Especially in these public tournaments. You know what I mean? All these guys, the name value, the Brooks, like they're just off a name value alone, they're going to get the Ricky Fowler. Like Ricky Fowler's always a little higher owned in these public tournaments anyways, as opposed to like the higher dollar, sharper contests. So.
And you look at the win odds, like JT's 11-1, Cantlay's like 14-1. So the matchup kind of aligns with it. I mean, sure, if the ownership didn't matter at all and everything was equal, I still think I like Cantlay though. So I don't know. This one doesn't bother me either way, but it makes me like JT maybe slightly more because of it.
And guys, just real quick, if you could hit that like, and subscribe to the channel, that's huge for us and putting out this, content for you guys. So please hit that like button. Let's get into the next one, because we got Rom minus 137 and a Xander plus 110 dog. So, I mean, Rom's a favorite. I'm on Rom. I saw this earlier. I mean, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't view Xander. I love Xander, but I don't view him the same as I view these top guys. Like, I think he's really good, but I put him more in the Hovland bracket than I do the Rom, JT, the top tier guys. So it makes sense to me, and I'm not going to play Xander for sure.
All right, so we got Patrick Reed is a plus 110 dog versus our boy Hideki at minus 137. Yeah. I mean,
I love seeing that. I mean, the price difference, but people like Patty Reed. People are going to play Patty Reed always. I mean, he might not be 20%, but he's going to be double digits, and he just hasn't looked great. I mean, honestly, like, I just don't want to play Patty Reed. So when I'm high on a guy like Hideki and Rose and Cantlay, for that matter, like, I want to see good matchup odds. So Hideki, I want to see him favored in all of his, like, in his matchups versus these comparable guys. So, like, if I saw Hideki and Hovland was favored over him, that would worry me a little bit. So I don't know if you see that matchup anywhere, but as long as Hideki's favored over everybody, I'm good with it.
I don't, but I do see Ricky Fowler is minus 118 against Victor Hovland, minus 106. So, I mean, it's pretty close. I mean, what we don't like Ricky, and we're kind of off Hovland today. Does that make you feel kind of good that, Ricky is a little more favored? I mean, it's close. It's
still though, like,
but it's still a favorite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's still favorited. Yeah.
And they're the same price range, and Hovland's going to be way higher owned. Yeah, I mean, even though I'm probably not going to play both of them, it does make me feel good that Hovland isn't – like, if Hovland was like minus 140 or something versus Ricky, I would be way more worried about the fade.
Yeah, and I'm going to read a few other ones and just pick one or two that kind of stand out to you. We got Gary Woodland minus 130 against, Joaquin Neiman plus 105, so the dog. We got Billy Horschel plus 110, Adam Hadwin minus 137 favorite. Does either one of those stand out to you?
Yeah, so I mean, the Hadwin thing, like, I expect him to be favored over Billy Ho. For one, he's more expensive. For two, I mean, he's a more consistent golfer. He's going to be higher owned. He's higher priced. So it makes sense. I mean, it doesn't worry me at all. Like, Hadwin's solid. Like, people are going to play him. It doesn't bother me. It makes sense. Like, I wish Billy Ho was favored over him. I'd feel way better about it, but it doesn't bother me at all.
All right. Harold Varner minus 120. Joel Damon a plus 100. Dog Kevin Streelman minus 150 over Rory Sabatini plus 120. You know, anything that's and then I'm sorry, Bung Young An minus 137 favorite over Brent Snedeker.
Yeah.
Will never play Sneds plus 110 dog. I mean, you like that one, huh? Is that
so I mean, it just makes me like it even more. Like when Benny On is that big a favorite over Sneds, they're basically the same price. I mean, Benny On is 300 more, but I love seeing that. And who'd you say was favored over? Who'd you say Streel Daddy was favored over?
He's
Damon?
minus 150 over Sabatini plus 120.
Sabatini. So
yep.
Yeah, like I could just never. That's one of those things where I would write it down on my piece of paper, and I just would never feel good about playing Sabatini over Streel Daddy. Like I just couldn't do it because unless I needed that money or something, but I wouldn't do it just because of that line.
And I'm going to give you the last one. Justin Rose is minus 114. Ricky Fowler minus 114. So this is like, they're literally the same. What does that make you love Rose more? Does that make you not like him as much because you don't like Ricky? How do you look at that?
Yeah, so I mean, Fowler's getting a lot of love, but again, he's a public type guy. So I don't know. Like last week, I kind of tried to talk myself into Ricky Fowler. And by the end of the week, I talked myself off of him, and then he played really good. I think he might struggle again this week, but
it's one of those things where if you don't play a guy when he's 8,100 2 weeks ago, how are you going to play the guy? It's just, I know Hoop brought it up, I think, in the Monday pod, and I agree with him. It's just like, and I know you've said it before. If you're on a guy, you got to be on him when he's the cheap price, and you're gonna play him when he's higher too. But you can't take him now at the higher price when he's gonna drop down at some point after he has like one or two more like bad weeks in a row. So that's just my thought. But I mean, Tony, let's pick the winners for the people. I mean, we gotta we got to start with you. At least give us one or two. You can give us your main guy, at the end. But
see if you see any questions. See if there's any questions in chat, real quick.
Well, you guys can throw some questions in chat, and we'll answer that, as we go. So if you have questions, throw them in there right now.
I need to find me a long shot.
Can you go with an all mustache team, Tony?
I don't even know who has a mustache besides Ricky.
Yeah,
who has one?
That's a good question, actually. I'm gonna have to find this out. I don't know if you can. Tony doesn't even know. I don't know either.
I don't know who has a freaking mustache.
That's so funny. Let's see here. Man, all right. So do you have anyone, or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go a different route this week. I'm gonna take three guys like always. I'm gonna take Billy Ho, 70-1. I'm gonna take Benny On, 66-1. And my third guy, as I work my way up, I'm gonna give me Patrick Cantlay at 13-1. I like him. It was between him and Rose at 17. I think I like Cantlay a little more at 13. So give me Cantlay 13-1. And what was the other two I said? Benny On at 66-1 and Billy Ho at 70-1. Those will be my three.
Man, Billy Ho, you're just the biggest fan of Billy Ho. Give me Sammy Burns at plus 225.
Oh, my boy. What is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
225-1. I'll take that.
He's 225-1 too. Oh man,
I think so. Yeah.
You're gonna win the whole season pool when he ships this.
When he ships it, I know. That's it. I won't even have to worry after that. So I'll take him. Then I'm gonna go a little higher up and go with my boy Joel Damon at 100-1. He's gonna do it one of these weeks. He's gonna give us a Sunday performance one of these weeks, and I'm not missing it. And then at the top, you took Cantlay. Man, I have this feeling about Rom. It's probably wrong. I got him at 13-1 on DraftKings right now. I see Cantley. That's what Cantley is too. They're the same. They're 13-1, both of them on DK right now. I'm gonna take the 13-1 on Rom. I like him this week. I just have a feeling, kind of like what you said about Furyk. How you just have this like feeling that he can go. I just have this
compare
feeling
Rom to Furyk.
No, I'm saying I just have a feeling that Rom's gonna win. That was my conviction. It's not I'm comparing. I'm not comparing the golfers. Comparing the golfers. That's a good one. Yeah. So I mean, I give me Rom. I like Rom today. But we got a few questions. So I mean, Matt wants to know thoughts on Hadley. Chesson Hadley. I think I brought him up on FanDuel as a cheap play. I think he's fine on DK too. But Tony, do you have any Chesson Hadley love?
Yeah, I think he's fine. I mean, he's in that same bucket. He is, what is he, low 7Ks? How much is he? Let me see.
Isn't he six? Is he in the 6Ks? I gotta look.
Yeah, let me see. Is he 6,500? Yeah, 6,500. Like, I definitely like him at 6,500. He makes birdies too.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely don't mind that price. So let's see. Fowler in all 6 spots. Yeah, probably not. I don't know how you do that anyways. Eric Johnson, thoughts on
Where do you always
Morikawa?
find these questions at? I never even see them, and you start reading them.
You got to look, in the chat on the YouTube. Tony, what do you want me to do? Hit the link and look at the chat. Let's see. Thoughts on Morikawa. So I know Tony wasn't on Morikawa. I do like Morikawa, 9,200. I think you could jump back on, after you got that price bump. He was in that 10K range, and that was just a little too much. He had a couple rough weeks, took a week off. People are going to play him, for sure, but not as many people with everyone being on Hovland and Rose being popular and Ricky right under him. Like, he's going to be 10%, that's for sure, maybe 15, but I don't think he's going to push 20. And I think at 9,200, he's back in that price range where you can definitely roster him. And like Tony talked about, he's an exact guy that Tony would love. He's got the irons. If he gets the ball on the green and he just makes some putts, he could be in it on Sunday. So it's not crazy to say that Morikawa couldn't win or, has the ability to. He's just got to make some putts. But again, his best trait isn't putting, right? So, and that's what, Tony said, and I agree with, because guys just get hot putters. And if you get a guy whose best trait isn't putting, but gets a hot putter because they're pros, at some point they're going to get hot putters, it's going to happen. So Morikawa is the exact same way. I like him. I'm not going to have as much just because of my lineup construction, the way I'm building, but I definitely like him. He's my favorite play in the 9K range. Let's see here.
I like Morikawa more the more I think about it. Just because coming into the show, I really didn't love him because I just hadn't gone through the full roster build. And now that we're on all those 7K guys, I'm okay with adding a little bit more at the top, which means I'm okay with adding maybe 25% Morikawa type thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you right now, if I was to add anyone else in this top tier range, it would definitely be Morikawa. I know Tony's on Rose too in that 9K range, but yeah. So let's see here. Should we fade? Eric Johnson wants to know, should we fade Woodland? I
think I'm leaning towards fading him, honestly. I like him, but he just hasn't played good.
And he doesn't fit my build.
Yeah.
And he doesn't fit the build that we want. That's the other issue is, I think I'm going to do it you're right. He hasn't played well. He multiple weeks, right? He's been popular. He's going to be somewhat popular again just because of his price. I think you just ride it and, the way we're building is the way we're building, and he's just not going to make it anyways. Let's see. Any Carlos Ortiz love? Carlos Ortiz, he's down. What is he in the 6K range still?
I'm not playing Carlos Ortiz.
I'm not on him either.
We got a ton of guys in the cheap range.
He is 6,400, but I still don't have any Carlos Ortiz. Burns to miss the cut. That was AP. So
AP's just bringing bad mojo to the Wednesday.
Stay in the Tuesday show, AP. All right, stay in your lane. Let's see. Favorite showdown day one play. This is this is becoming a kind of popular question because we've been crushing the showdown content, Tony. I mean, in Snyder too, our guy Snyder, and Hoop and Coop and Mangone and AP, all the guys that are doing the showdown content. Like who's a guy that you could see on day one just going low? Who's someone you really like?
So as much as I love the showdowns, day one I just haven't really played, like, honestly, and I don't want to just throw something out there just to throw it out. Like, I take pride in, like, when I give advice, I actually play. I haven't played day ones. I like to see what happens day one and then adjust, and maybe the weather comes in day two type thing like that. I just don't honestly play day one, so I don't really want to give advice. If I was going to give advice, I think I would play just morning guys, but again, I don't play day one.
So that would be my exact answer for this question, because that's the only day I don't play showdown, is day one. Mainly because I'm sweating up the golfers.
Snyder's gonna do something too, though. Like, for the people that want something, we're gonna have a playbook.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, guys, if you want the round one hero, I mean, it's obviously Jordan Spieth. So I mean, just duh. So I saw so many messages in our Discord about, like, oh, you gotta just lock in Spieth because he makes the cut now, and then who cares if he makes the cut? He dies on Saturday and Sunday. It's terrible. He's just terrible. He's not a tournament play. Like, just don't play Jordan Spieth unless, I mean, again, showdown round one at a course that he's good at. I guess go for it. But other than that, stay away from Jordan Spieth.
There's good news too. So I talked about Snyder. Don't want it. We got it up on the website. I'm not going to give it out because you got to be a member to get it. But if you're a member, hop on there. He's got five top guys, 4 mid-tier guys, and 5 cheap guys for the round one showdown. So good content. If you want the showdown, hop in there. It's on the website. I see it right now.
Yeah, so guys, get in there. I know we were running a promo. I think it was like 25% off. So get in there, get over to runpuresports.com, sign up, get in the Discord. And please, guys, hit the like button for this video. It helps us, give you guys out some free content. So that really helps us out, keep doing this for you guys. So make sure to hit that like button. Couple more questions, Tony. Thoughts on Hubbard? He's been hot. I mean, we talked about Hubbard. We liked Hubbard a lot. Scotty Scheffler to miss the cut. Yes, I'm with you. I don't like Scotty Scheffler. Tony, I'm pretty sure Tony doesn't like Scotty Scheffler either.
I'm definitely not playing Scotty Scheffler.
Okay. Let's see here. Is Bubba Watson a flyer? Is he worth it?
I'm not playing Bubba? Bubba hasn't been playing good. I'm not playing Bubba.
And then last question I see, did you guys talk about Corey Connors? I mean, no, we didn't bring up Corey Connors. I'm not playing Corey Connors. What is he, 7,600? Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm going to play Champ, Damon, Varner, Kokrak, Horschel, Poulter, Mav, like Ryan Armour, like all those guys I'd prefer over Corey Connors. Tony, do you have any different take?
I agree with what you just said. Like, I don't want to play Corey Connors. I don't know. He's okay, but I like other guys in that range more.
We got Bruce in the chat saying Scotty Scheffler lock. I think he forgot to add to miss the cut. But yeah, I mean, he's cheap, so I mean, go for it if you like. If you've been playing Scotty, if you played Scotty Scheffler, this goes back to Tony's point. If you played Scotty Scheffler at 9K last week, at 9K, you better be playing him this week at 7,800. You better not be getting off him at 7,800. Yeah. It's one thing when a guy is the same price that he was the week before, or like $200 up or down, and you say I'm getting off of him. That's different. But when a guy literally drops like 1,200. You better be on that guy again if that's your guy.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, Tony, any last words for the people? I mean, besides obviously, the Wednesday show is, the dominant show to the Tuesday show, and Mangone is, lying to all the people about Jason Day. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, so I mean, we went over a lot of stuff, but we'll be in the Discord tonight. I know I haven't started building my teams. JSU builds late at night on Wednesdays too. Well, we'll be in the Discord, so if you're a member, hop in there. Feel free to tag us, ask any question you need. We'd love to respond and help as much as we can. So thanks
Yeah,
for
and
watching, and hop in that Discord for sure.
and JSU's got to finish his TBT content. He's been rolling out TBT content
Yeah.
every morning.
Tomorrow
In
we
the
got
Discord,
ISO Joe too. ISO
yeah,
Joe in the
we got
report.
Tony Roten and ISO Joe. I mean,
Yeah.
we got some actual ballers, on this TBT slate tomorrow. But I mean, if you haven't checked out the TBT stuff, I mean, definitely a fun thing. I mean, I just honestly just love that basketball's back. So I mean, if you love basketball, I mean, it's pretty good basketball. It's on ESPN. They're showing all the games for the tournament. I mean, make sure to go check it out. It's been fun, honestly. I'm excited to keep it going. So obviously, if you subscribe and become a member, make sure to get in the Discord, because the Discord is where all my content will be, in the NBA channel, in the Discord. But like Tony said, if you have questions, add us, message us. We'll get back to you. Tony's up literally all night. Friggin' guy sleeps like 2 hours. I sleep like maybe 3 or 4. I'm like almost on Tony's sleep schedule, and I'm up, by 6 every morning, easily, pretty much. So, anytime, pretty much, we'll get back to you, as long as it's not like 3 in the morning. Maybe it'll take us an hour or 2 to get back to you, maybe 3, but we're pretty much in there all the time. So make sure to get over there and check us out. But for me, JSU and Big T, we're out of here.